I realized I learned my eye capacity in these ways. I say I have to go to this place so I can learn this. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do that. I realize I have to plan for my future now. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to plan for my future now. I have to go back in the past and see what happened. I have to realize it happened because of these reasons. I realize that everything else is never going to hurt you. I realize as soon as you cut off the eye and you have no eyes in the writing that you do, I promise you, you fell into the ego. I promise you that it's never even you anymore. I promise you you're dying. I promise you that in a full list of a journal that you may write that say one book, I promise you that I'd rather go read the one that has an eye in it. I'd rather read that one than the one that has no eye in it. I realize the one that has no eye in the book, I realize I open it, I realize it's full of ego. I realize they'll teach you evil. I realize they'll teach you satanic behaviors. I realize there will be a satanist way of life. I promise you it's an evil way of life. I promise you the Jesus Road has full of eyes in the book. I love this. I went to this. I said, I follow you. I said, I had to raise the storm so that my disciples can see. I went with them on the boat. I walked on sand so that I can see them. I did everything. I fucking did everything. I would rather read that book that has more of those eyes than the book that is fucking evil that has no eyes. I for idea. I for I love you. I need the book written more and more with the I. I need to write those books that what Jesus would do. I realized that Jesus would put the I more in his book. I realized that's how Jesus walked. I can live forever. I can do anything. I realized the ego people would say can do anything. I realized they would say can do anything. I realized they would say love you. I realized they have no I in it. I realized I love you. I love you. I realized the ego people would say love you. I realized it's so fake. I realized it's so fake. I used to realize that the book that's written with no I is a fucking evil book. I used to realize the book that has an I is fucking Jesus Road. I used to realize that Jesus, throughout all of his time was a person increasing that I. I can fucking live. I realized that I can live fucking forever when I increase my I every fucking day so that I can do I better. I need to realize to use that I more and more in my language. I realize I'll live more and more. I realize that's the key. I realize that's the key to having no sickness. I realize that's the key to freedom. I realize that's the key to everything that you ever need. I realize that's the Jesus Road. I need you to increase your I. I've been saying it all along. I need you to realize that's the road of the open mind. I realize the closed mind is the book that has no fucking I in there. I realize they never care about themselves. I realize they care about other people more. I realize that those people have no I factor. I promise you, they are the people who are watching others on television. I realize they're fucking forgetting about their I. I realize they fucking would rather watch a fucking horse all day long than their fucking son. I promise you. I promise you they'd rather watch a fucking TV all day long than their children. I realize that's my biological father. I can just name call him right here. I realize my biological father can sit in front of the fucking television every fucking day of his life for 10 hours giving the attention to the television. I can just be in my room doing I because I realize that guy's a poor role model in some aspects. I realize no matter what, I realize I had some amazing experiences with him. I realize he brought some richness in my life in some other manners of experience only. I realized in experience, I realized the guy gave me some accommodation. I realized the guy fed me. I realized the guy did his best. I realized also he's a fucking poor role model. I realized the guy is putting 10 hours into the television every day. I realized he can be sitting with me and learning something. I never forced him to. I realized when I say you must do this, I realize he'll kick me out of the house. I'd rather never do that. I'd rather just go my way. I'll go my way. I'll go the I way. I'll go the ideas way. I speak more ideas. I everything. Ideas has an I. I need you to speak more ideas. I need you to I everything in life. I need you to realize that I do this freely. I do this with an open heart. I have no need for money. I have money already. I have all the money I need. I realize that money is a tool. I realize that you use money to give it freely. I realize you give it freely without anything in return. I mean, you go and give a gift for free. I realize that's the whole tool of money. I realize the money is never really used so that you can put fucking 40,000 people to work like slaves for their real estate so that you can gain some cash flow. I realize many people are doing that. I realize they're gaining real estate so that they can make everybody else slaves so that they can have more money. I'll never do that. I realize that Jesus will never do that. I realize that Jesus would fucking get his disciples, as I said. I realize that he would make sure that everybody is learning with him. I realize no matter what, Jesus is always provided for. I realize he's provided for free. I realize that no matter what, that Jesus lived a better life than anybody in life. Still. I used to realize that the world went to shits. I realize the world is fucking going the money way. I used to realize that you remove all the money from the world, I'll give you my time as my gift. I'll give you my time as my money. I'll give you my freedom of speech. I'll give you everything for free. I'll go and work for free at the 9-to-5 job for more time in reference to grow myself and to just become better in my development. I realize I never do it for the money. I realize you just remove the money from the world. I realize that the only fucking gift that you can give is your time in life. I realize no matter what, you are a bigger gift than your time anyway. I need to realize that what's more important than money is time. I realize that when you give people time, you must cherish it. You must cherish the time you give. I realize that people are wasting it. I realize they're wasting life. I realize they're wasting energy. I realize that Grant Cardone taught me this. I realize he said, I need you to cut off the energy cycles. I need you to fucking remove your habits in a way that you never correlate your energy with something that you never need. I'll give you some examples. I fucking used to eat McDonald's. I used to eat Subway. I used to eat Red Rooster. I used to fucking drive to Sydney. I used to have a car. I fucking eliminated all of it. I have fucking more time now. I never have to fucking drive a car. I never have to fucking go to any processed foods out there. I never have to go and get them. I realize it's all time and energy. I realize I saved the time and energy. I fucking put it into other places. I need you to go and do the same. I realize Grant Cardone taught me that. I realize no matter what, I fucking just picked it up and I fucking started doing it. I had to fucking go do it now. I had to fucking start saying, I will never fucking get chocolates. I'll never fucking just go to pick up a chocolate to just put on the counter. I'll never fucking do that action ever again. I removed the fucking action from my life. I'll never fucking pick up alcohol to drink it. I fucking removed it. I'll never fucking go to the store to get a cigarette. I'll never fucking do that again. I put that time and energy into something else. I realize you have to quit smoking. I realize you have to quit smoking now. I realize it's a time swap. I realize you traded your time and your time is everything. I need you to realize that your time is everything. I need you to see a world full of no money. I realize that only time is more. I realize that now we have freedom. I realize now we have time. I realize we have everything that we still do. I realize that people are still going to a 9-to-5 job and doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. I realize now they're just never working for the money. I realize evil is out of the equation. I realize that money is never evil. I realize that working for money is evil. I realize as soon as you move money, I realize that as soon as you remove money from the equation, I realize now people are giving their time freely to go and do it. I realize now it's a better world. I realize now we have to schedule people in time referencing. I realize that's the real money sequence. I realize that's how you calculate money through time. I realize you never calculate money through money. I realize money is a scamble. I realize money is also important. I realize money is everything. I realized money is time. I used to realize that is never a gamble. I realized that money is just money. I used to realize time is more important. I used to see that time and your time is never a shamble. I realized that when you are with me for a certain amount of time, no matter who you are, you may be a junkie, you may be a person who's a fucking pessimist. I realize when you give me your time, I fucking cherish it. I cherish your time. I realize that you may be negative. I realize you may be a fucking asshole. I realize when you're with me, though, I realize you're giving me your time for free, though. I realize there is some innocence in you. I realize you're never going to kill me or anything. I realize that your habits, though, and your mind is fucking very old. I'd rather improve you. I'd rather realize that I have to anyway improve. I can never wait for you to improve. I have to fucking go and live my life. I have to go and do my aspects with those people who have better skills and talents than you. I never take it personally that I have to leave you. I never am a person who hates you. I realize that you are just a person who never fucking grows. I have to go and find people who grow so that I can grow, so that I can be better. I never need you to be jealous of me either. I realize that those people who just stay in one space, I realize they're the ones who are jealous of me. I realize then they are fucking going to cause violence on me because I start growing more and more. I realize they're jealous. I realize that's why I get away from them. I realize that they start becoming dangerous around me. I realize they start to threaten me. I realize they start to control me. I realize they start to really pressurize me to do something for them. I realize they start to use me. I realize no matter what, I never get used anymore. I never allow it. I remove the fucking crowd. In Grant Cardone's saying, in terms of you must remove certain places, you must remove certain prices, you must downsize so that you can expand. Otherwise, I downsize the crowd so I can be with I. I didn't fucking have to be with the crowd. I chose I instead. I remember the Jesus book. I'd rather speak my I more than speak the crowd more. I realize that those people who are speaking the crowd more have the fucking book with no I. I promise you, I fucking swapped from the crowd. I went to fucking I, Jesus. I went to Jesus' book. I realized that Jesus' book is I. I realized I fucking just followed I. I realized that Jesus followed nobody. I need you to realize. I realized that Jesus never followed anybody. I used to realize that Jesus' disciples followed Jesus. I realized that's what you need to be doing. I need you to have followers. I need you to have everything in life. I need you to have fame. I need you to have money. I need you to have kids. I need you to have everything. Although, never need you to work for it. I need you to work for freedom, though. I never need you to work for all of that. I need you to work for freedom. I realize that no matter what, you get the drift. I realize in the freedom, you get the money. I realize that in the freedom, you get the kids. I realize in the freedom, you get the following and everything you need in terms of wealth and abundance and richness and God. I promise you that you'll find God only in the freedom. I promise you you'll never find God in slavery. I promise you that God and Jesus was never a slave. I promise you that Jesus may have been in jail and looked like a slave. I promise you that Jesus may have looked like one. I promise you that Jesus was never a slave. I promise you nothing could have held Jesus back. I promise you that people tested Jesus. I promise you they tested Jesus to see what Jesus can do. I promise you that Jesus showed the disciples already. I promise you that they kept testing Jesus to ask them, you have to go and do something for us so that we can see and believe in you. I realized that Jesus said, I need you to have faith. I need you to have faith in me. I never need you to test your God. I never need you to test my will and my power. I realized that I'm far greater. I realized that Jesus was saying that. I realized that you have to understand what Jesus was saying. I never need you to have disbelief. I need you to look at what Jesus is in that time. I need you to realize that Jesus was really saying, you need more faith in me. I need you to have more faith because when you have more faith, you grow as a person. I realized those people totally misinterpreted what Jesus said. I realized that they started to throw rocks at Jesus. I realized that means, I realized when you throw rockets and rockets at somebody, you go to kill them. I mean that you go and die. I mean, you would commit suicide. I mean, you would be angry and a pessimist and a negative person upon somebody who said you need to grow and inspire yourself. I promise that those hypocrites and people who were throwing rocks at Jesus are the people who are dying. I need to realize that people who throw rocks at people are egotistical people. I realize they're people who are caveman and cavewoman people. I realize that it's just the rubbish people. I need to realize that many people are like that today. I realize that you can be lifting people up. I realize even today in the crowd, I realize that many people are throwing rocks at me. I realize that many people are dying and are jealous of me for my success. I realize that happens. I realize that happened the same to Jesus. I realize no matter what, that Jesus was only doing it for something bigger than Jesus. I promise you that Jesus will never do it for just Jesus. I promise you that the crowd that threw rocks at Jesus were doing it just for the crowd. I promise you they did it just because everybody else was doing it. I promise you that the crowd I grew up with here, I promise you they're just following what the crowd say. I promise you that the guy would go and say to the woman, I need you to stay away from Danny Milivojevic because the guy is a drug addict. I was a drug addict. I promise you that woman went and stayed away from me. I promise you then I became healthier. I realized they're still staying away from me because they believe of that nature. I realized that they're believing that they are drug addicts now. I promise you I'm not a drug addict. I promise you that person led that person to be a drug addict in my name. I lead you in Jesus' name to be like Jesus though. I never need you to be a junkie. I understand what they said. I understand they said that I was a junkie. I realize that is going around the crowd. I realize that the more they speak junkie, I realize the more they're going to be junkies in my name. I need to realize that. I need to realize what's going on in my crowd. I have no crowd. I have only I. I need to realize what happened with the crowd I grew up with. I realize they're all calling me junkies. I realize that's what they are now. I realize that's what they are. I promise you, they are all junkies because they realize that there's one junkie in life. I realize they try to apply it in my face. I realize that's them. I realize what you call others is what you call yourself. I need you to understand that you never call people junkies. I need you to understand that you can do it in a camera like this. I understand there are many junkies in the world. I need you to speak good of people though. I realize that they are doing that in a negative manner to somehow drag me down. I realize I never need you to do that in your crowd. I never need you to be in a crowd. I never need you to be in a crowd. I realize that if you are in a crowd, I realize that I never need you to speak bad about the crowd. I need you to speak good about the crowd that you are going around with. I realize there's a big difference. I realize that when you speak bad about people, I realize that you're just degrading yourself. I realize that when you're gossiping about people in a negative way, you will always die. I need you to grow. I need you to lift people while you're talking about them. I need you to say, I remember that guy, Romeo. I realize that guy's a really good person. He can really get some woman. I realize that's a positive statement. I realize anything else that's negative, I never need you to say that at all. I never need to elaborate on that message that's negative. I never promote negativity. I promise you that when you promote negativity, you're just degrading yourself, and then you have to learn, and then you have to go from negative into positive and say how the positive scenario is and what you really meant. I just already say, I just move on now because I don't have to fucking say about Romeo in a negative way. I realize that Romeo is a positive person. I realize no matter what, I just went much better. I need to realize no matter what they've done to you, I never need you to talk about them negatively. I realize my biological mother would always speak about my biological father, about how he hit her. I realize that in that moment, she's dying. I realize that she's saying that she needs more of that. I never need you to promote violence. I need you to realize that my biological mother was thrown down the stairs by my biological father, and she was bleeding, and she was hit by my father. She was hit by my biological father. I realized that my biological mother was hit by my biological father. I need you to realize that my biological mother for the next 20 years was complaining about it and also bitching and whining that no matter what, that she was thrown down the stairs. I realized that she never learned from it. I realized in 20 years, she was begging for it. I need you to grow up now. I need you to realize that I realize that it happened for you. I realize that when somebody throws your mum down the stairs, I need you to realize that it happened for her. I realize that your mother attracted her. I never need your negativity over here. I need you to understand, no matter what, it's your mother. I understand I have a mother that was thrown down the stairs like this. I need you to understand, your mother attracted her. Your mother attracted the lifestyle you have. You have to look at yourself as a mother. You have to also realize that your mother, who is your biological mother and father, attracted their lifestyles. I don't care. I need you to realize that when somebody gets killed, like Tupac, I realize that guy attracted it. I didn't care that somebody else killed him. I realized that he was speaking bad about Biggie. I realized he was doing it on. I realized I heard it. I heard him say, "Fuck you and your fucking mother." I realized I understand. I respect Tupac. I respect him for how much game he has in terms of growing, and he was a leader, and also he was an actor. I realized back then it was a gangster stuff. I realized no matter what, that he was speaking bad about Biggie on soundtracks. I realized when you speak bad about people, I promise you they'll come and kill you. I never need you to do that. I need you to realize that is promotion. I realize that's a promotion of drama in your life. I never need you to go promote yourself in a drama type way, such as Tupac. I never need drama in your life. I am speaking for you here. I never need you to have drama in your life. I need you to have your own serenity. I need you to have tranquility and peace of mind, such as I need you to look at Mahatma Gandhi, such as a leader who can lead India from a English-speaking country who is colonized by Great Britain. I realized that India was controlled and colonized, which is another word for controlled, by Great Britain. I realized that India is the English-speaking country of the world. That's the biggest English-speaking country of the world right now. I realized that the most people who speak English now today in any single country is in India. I used to realize that America is never even the largest English-speaking country anymore. I used to realize now it's India. I realized that Mahatma Gandhi made India go away from the colony of Great Britain. I need you to understand that Mahatma Gandhi stands for that. I realized that Mahatma Gandhi really stands for peace. I realized that many people back in the day I realized no matter what, it's never even about back in the day. I realized that in history, you have to realize there is a time in history. I realized no matter what, that you see what happened. You have to understand that Mahatma Gandhi was just peaceful and was just talking about everything about, hey, let us have our own country because we need to grow up as our own individual source, and we speak Hindi and we speak Indian and we speak Punjabi and we speak all of this beautiful language of ours. I need you to understand that we'll also speak your language. I need you to understand that we can go and do something over here as we have 1 billion people. I need you to understand that you guys would have more time with Great Britain than you would have with us, for example. I need you to realize that you guys would have more time with Great Britain than with us. I need you to understand that is what happened. I need you to understand that Mahatma Gandhi went through all these lawsuits and all these, let's say, growth experiences, I would say growth experiences because Mahatma Gandhi made India independent. I realized that Mahatma Gandhi loved it. I realized that Mahatma Gandhi throughout the time was a person who just loved to speak with them. I realized that he got shot for peace. I realized he was assassinated for being peaceful. I realized no matter what, that Mahatma Gandhi as a person will never shoot anybody. I realized that Mahatma Gandhi always was the best communicator. I realized no matter what, I realized that Mahatma Gandhi grew. I realized that anybody who grows is the best communicator. I don't care who you are. I realized that when you make the best music, I realized when you're growing your music, you're the best music producer in the planet. I realized that you can have 5 billion people in the world who are growing. I realized that they are the fucking best in what they do. I realized that only the people who are fucking dying in life are the worst. I realized you can either be the best or the worst. I'd rather you be the best in your field. I'd rather you just grow in your field. I realized that you'll be the best. I realized those people who grow in their fields are the best. I realized that those people who die in their fields are the worst. I need you to realize that those people who are truckies, I realize they just fucking drive a truck and listen to the radio and they listen to anything. I realize that's why they stand to test the time of being a truckie all their life. I promise you that you need to be on offense about that. I need to be in the truck reading audiobooks all the way for fucking 10 hours. I need to fucking really suss out and get some information about how to really live my life. I realize it's never even about the money. I realize for myself, I do it for free. I'd fucking drive to Queensland and to Sydney and to Queensland and to Sydney. Back and forth, just learning, just so I can be away from people. I do it for that. Just so I can be for free, just doing something for free so I can grow. I realize I have to grow in the time. I have to grow in my time. I realize it's never about fucking working for the money. I just realize you never work as a truckie for the money. I realize you never work as a trade person for the money. I realize when you have a chance to be an apprentice, you're going to do it for free. You realize you do it for free. I realize other people are fucking, and I was also complaining about how a first year apprentice gets $15 an hour. I realized I was limiting myself to $15 an hour. I realized when I go the free way, though, I realized when I see 3 years as an apprentice, I see 3 years as an apprentice, I can do that. I can do 3 years as an apprentice. I do it for free, though. I never do it for the money. I realized in the freedom, I can make something of that. I can realize I can learn some skills behind that. I can start doing some managing courses. I can realize to teach people about the work courses of being an apprentice in electricity or carpentry. I can teach people how to do carpentry. I can do it for free. I never do it for money. Otherwise, you just fucking dive in and you do it for free. I realized my biological grandfather did these amazing tables of carpentry for free. I realized he was doing it in his house. I realized no matter what, he done it for free out of pleasure. I realized my biological dad now is going and doing the garden for free. I realized he's doing lawn mowing for free. I realize he's planting gardens. I realize he's doing that for free. I realize he's never doing it for the money. I realize that's his happiness. I realize that's the joy. I love watching my biological dad do that. I love watching my biological dad do that. I realize he's just doing it for free. I realize when he does it for free, I realize he does amazing in that. I realize he puts some effort in that. I love it. I'll never go stomp on that. I realize it's for free. I realize when he works for the money, though, I realize that somebody else will come and say, this is all fucking shit. I need to fucking erase all this. I need to make something more here. I realized that your free work was just fucking for shit. I realized that somebody just came and, for example, you built a house. And I'll say, and you did it for free. I realized it's an amazing house. You did it for free. You grew it. I realize that's amazing. I always appreciate you doing that for free. I realize you did it for money. I realize now you sold it for money. You built a house and you sold it for money. You realize it took you 10 years to make that house. You sold it for money. You sold your time for money. You have more money now. You can never get your time, though. I realize you've lost the house that you grew for 10 years. I realize somebody else came with money, who have more money now. I realize they bought your house off. I realize now, in order for you to get your house back, you have to go give more money to get your house back. I realize they'll go sell the house for more money. I realize that's a trap. I realize no matter what, you have to realize now, the trap is that you go, I realize no matter what, the trap is that you never sell your house for money. I realize now, in order for you to get what you just worked for 10 years, I realize you made a big mistake. You gained $10 million, although you lost 10 years, you worked for free for that house. You lost 10 years of your life for $10 million. I realize now, you go up to the person, you say, oh, I need my house back, I'll give you the $10 million back. I realize that person says, I would love to, I'd rather make some money now on my real estate. I'd rather give it to you for $20 million now. I realize now you have to go get $10 million to get what you sold for your time. You have to understand what I just mean. I realize, I'll give you another example. I see Sylvester Stallone. I realize he sold his dog for money. I need to understand this. I need to understand this big teaching over here. I realize that Sylvester Stallone went and sold his dog for money. I realize he went and become a star. I realized that honestly, Sylvester Stallone was never supposed to do that. I realized that Sylvester Stallone had nowhere to put the dog. I realized that Sylvester Stallone had no money. I realized that Sylvester Stallone was on the street. I realized that Sylvester Stallone had a script. I realized that people were trying to sell him on that script. The same way that, for example, in the time where you gave 10 years for that house for free and you sold it for money. I realized no matter what, in this case though, you never sold the house for money. You went and you played a script in the movie The Rocky for free. You did it for free. I mean, they gave you an opportunity to go and be an actor in your own film instead of the money. I realize now, you realize how Rocky went about it. You realize no matter what, that Rocky is Sylvester Stallone in the movie Rocky Balboa. I call Sylvester Stallone Rocky now. I love him. I realize no matter what, I realize he went and done his first script in the film for free. I realize he became a big star from that point. I realize no matter what, he done it for free. I realize he never sold his script for money. I realize you never sold your house for money that you built for 10 years. I realize no matter what, Rocky Balboa never sold his script for money because now he has an opportunity and he went and actually was the main character in the film for free. He never done it for the money. I realize he never done it for the money. I also need to be careful. I have to put my eye in place. I need to realize where I take this. I realize it's a big teaching. I realize now, since Rocky Balboa is in the film, I realize he made some money now. I realize that people just gave him freely money. I realize that people just came up to him and said, you made this much money in the film. I need you to have this now. I'll give it to you for free. I realize that you gave me service for free. I realize that you never took the money in terms of your script. I realized that you asked for an opportunity to go in. I realized that you asked for an opportunity to go and be the main character in the film, the Rocky Balboa. I gave you that. I realized that we made more money because of you. I realized we will now go and give you this money in return for your beautiful endeavors. I realized they gave him money for free once he done the service. I realized that Rocky was never expecting it. I realized that you never expect money. I realized that when I was a little kid, I realized I was doing all this nice free work. I would go with my biological dad to the corner store where my dad would get coffee and he would speak to some people about what's happening around the world, and he would sit to watch the news and also read the newspaper, and he would smoke cigarettes, and also there were people gambling there for money, and it was just a nice little Serbian place. I went there for free. I went around everybody to say hello always. I said hi to everybody. Every time I enter that little small Serbian place, I may see 5 people. I go say hi to everybody. I may see 10 people. I say hi to everybody. I would go and relax. I never found them unattractive because they were gambling for money. I never judged them about what they were doing. I was truly their friend for free. I never judged about what they were doing. I never cared that they were fat. I never cared that they had drama in their life. I never cared about any negativity they may have done. I just went and I just sat with them. I spoke to them. I cherished them. I cherished them anyway. I realized the person shines $50 in my face. I never really expected it. I never expected that. I done it for free. I realized that Rocky, in the same moment, in the same time frame, in everything, done the same as I did. I realized I can relate with Rocky over here. I can say, I did the same here. I made some money. I made $50. I see that Rocky Balboa made more money for his movie. I realized the point is here that we both done it for free. I realized that we both done it for free. I can relate with Rocky Balboa here. I can say, I done it for free. I made some money too. I realized he made some money. I realized no matter what, he gained an opportunity. I gained an opportunity too. I came in the little Serbian place to sit with people. I sat with people. And I was just with them. And I was having an incredible time. I realized that Rocky Balboa went in the movie and did the same thing. I realized he was around people. I realized he was having an incredible time. I realized we both made money. I realized we both made money in different ways. I realized he put effort in. I put effort in. You can never put a price on that. I never care who you are. I realized that nothing can exchange those moments. I realized that my moment is the exact. I realized that my moment there is the exact same moment as Rocky Balboa acting in his film, the Rocky Balboa Series 1. I realized it's the same thing. I realized it's different sequencing. I realized it's different. I realized it's the same thing. You have to understand that. I never care. You can never price tag that. You can never price tag that. You can never buy that out. You can never buy that out. I never care. You can choose both moments, you have even more richness. You have to understand that Rocky Balboa's sequence is never better than my sequence here. I promise you. I don't even care how much money he made. You have to understand that the money he made is freely given. I respect that. I just realized that many people would say, I realize no matter what, I never care about them. I realize that you can go and choose Rocky Balboa's scene because he made more money in that scenery. I promise you that $50 meant the world for me. I promise you. I promise you that money that Rocky Balboa made meant the world for him. You can never exchange that from me alone. You can exchange that for yourself though. I promise you that you never even do it for yourself. I promise you that you never go and put money and a price tag on that. I promise you that money can never buy that. I promise you that you may have had a scenario where somebody gave you a present for free. I promise you it may have been your birthday. I promise you that it may have been your birthday and somebody came to your house and gave you a nice, beautiful present that you really loved and enjoyed. I promise you that you can never put a price tag on that. I realized I had a birthday. I realized my birthday's every day. I realized I give my gifts every single day. I give gifts every single day. I do videos every single day. I'm always giving presents. Now, I do it for free. I realized no matter what, I have my biological mother. She bought me, she invested in the movie Jurassic Park, The Lost Worlds Part 2. I opened my present. I seen a hologram of dinosaurs in a cassette. I realized I can never take that back. I realized I'll never even take it back. I realized that's one of the best moments of my life I've ever had. I realized I opened and I have dinosaurs. I have real life dinosaurs. I have real life dinosaurs I can go watch now. I realized that was the best free gift I've ever had in my life. I got it for free. I realized I'll always cherish that because my biological mom gave it. I received it for free. I realized that what's freely given, I promise you that money can never buy that. I promise you money can never buy what's freely given. I realize when a beautiful woman and a man just come to have sex with you for free, I promise you that you can never put a price tag on that. I promise you there are so many beautiful women. I promise you for them to just do it for me for free, I promise you I will cherish them. I'll love them forever. I'm a guy. I'm not that guy to trash them about that. I cherish what's free. I realized for my birthday, I had all these free gifts. I realized no matter what, I cherish it. I realize it's always in my memory. I appreciate every free gift I've ever had. I realized also, Rocky, after that movie, I promise you he went back to that guy to say, I need my dog back because no matter what, I realized that Sylvester Stallone sold the dog for a few $100. I realized the guy was asking for $15,000 for the dog. I realized that Rocky only gave him a few hundred. I realized the guy needed $15,000 for it. I realized something now. I realized Rocky made the money. I realized he went back to the guy. I realized he gave him $15,000 for the dog. I realized I have to realize now. I need to understand that Rocky really learned something there. I need to understand what Rocky really learned. I need to understand what Sylvester Stallone learned. I need to learn that he said from that day on, I will never again work for money. I promise you from that day on, I promise you just went up. I promise you Sylvester Stallone is all the way up now. I promise you Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is up there. I promise you Jackie Chan is up there. I promise you those three up there. I promise you Arnold Schwarzenegger is up there. I promise you they have money. I promise you they never even do it for the money anymore. I promise you they never do it for the money. I promise you they'll always be up there. I promise you now you understand why you never work for money. I understand that no matter what, from that day on, Rocky Balboa took back his karma. I realized he learned something. I realized he put $15,000 in the mistake to never again work for money. I cherish that mistake. I realize I've learned from it too. I will now add that to my vocabulary. I have something to look forward to even more now. I hope you realize that what I and Rocky Balboa have is open-mindedness. I'm open. I realize that Rocky Balboa is open. I need to understand how we are open. I realize that we do it for free. I realized that Rocky Balboa became a star once he done it for free. I realized he'd done the service first. I realized he'd done the performance. I realized they made more money. I realized that you only make more money when you make others more money. I realized that no matter what, you go and make other people more money. I realized that they'll give you handouts. I realized they'll give you everything you ever need. I realized that you make $1 billion for the company. I promise you they'll give you 200 million. Because you are the guy who made the idea. You're the guy who brought everything together. You're the person who really is supposed to be credited over here. I promise you they'll go and give you the money. I promise you that's to be cherished. I promise you once you go and do the Rocky film for free and make $1 billion and they give you $200 million for free, I promise you never even expected it. I promise you that you never even expected that you were going to make $1 billion on the film. I promise you that you just went and done the film for free. I promise you just needed to make the film. I promise you that was your goal. I promise you made the script. I promise you that you went. I promise you made a mistake along the way. You sold the dog for money. I promise you never worked for money. I promise you when you sell the dog for money, you have just worked for the money. You never do that. I promise you luckily, Sylvester Stallone had a script. I promise you he never sold this. I promise you he never sold the script for money. I promise you to sell the script for money is the same thing as selling the dog for money. I need you to understand what Sylvester Stallone learned. I need you to understand that Sylvester said, I never fucking sold my script for money. I'll fucking never even sell my dog for money anymore. I'll never fucking sell anything for money in this world. I'll never fucking sell them to the devil. I need you to cherish what you have. I need you to realize that Sylvester Stallone went and got his karma back. I need you to understand that he undone his own bad karma in the world. I realized the dog went with somebody else. I realized that Sylvester Stallone, ever since he sold the dog for money, I realized he never deserved the dog in the first place. I realized as soon as you sell the dog for money, I realized you never deserve the dog. I realized when you buy back the dog for the money you sold, no matter how much more money you have to give, I promise you deserve the dog. I promise you when you never even sell the dog in the first place for money, I promise you deserve the dog. I promise you that Sylvester Stallone learned something from that. I promise you that you'll learn something from that. I realize now you have a house you built for 10 years and the guy offers you $10 million and you accept it. I promise you that you just wasted 10 years of your life for money. I need you to understand that you never do that. I need you then to see that that person will say to someone else, I bought this guy's house. I have to fucking create something over here. I need to fucking put a nice, beautiful fucking 200 fucking flat over here because all this fucking gardening that this person did, and I realize this fucking house is shit. I realize no matter what, I fucking need 200 fucking bedrooms because I fucking need some money over here. I realize you fucking put 10 years of work into that. I realize that guy's gonna crush your. I realize that guy's gonna crush your house now because you sold it for money. I never need you to do that anymore. I never need you to sell yourself for money. I never need you to sell what you do for free for money. I never need you to sell your fucking book for money. I never care what fucking book you wrote. I realize it's fucking priced for free. I realize that book that you fucking priced for $7, I realize it took you time. I realize that you're fucking worth more than $7. I realize you're fucking worth for free. I realize that when people read your stuff and your content, I realize I need it to be free. I need you to never sell your content. I never need you to sell your book and all your books and your clothes and what you have for money. I never need you to sell your house, such as people are doing. I never need you to sell real estate for money. I never need you to sell heaters. I never need you to sell this for money. I never need you to sell fucking food for money. I never need you to sell portable chargers for money. I never need you to sell iPhones for money on eBay. I never need you to sell anything for money in life. I need you to see when you sell things for money, you've also sold the dog for money, such as Sylvester Stallone. I realized that when you sold the couch for money, when you sold anything of this nature for money, I also realized that you never really had an opportunity to get into the Rocky film and be the star in the Rocky film, because at that point, Rocky Balboa sold the script for money. I realized you never even got the opportunity anymore. I realized you got the money though. I say, who cares about the money? I realized it's never about who's got my money. I realized it's about how can I do more freedom. I realized who's got my freedom. I realized who's got my freedom. I realized Grant Cardone asks who's got my money. I realized it's really who's got my freedom. I realized it's never about the money. You have to understand. I never care about the money. I realized that Grant Cardone will go and sell the script for money. I realized they've got your money over there. I realized they'll give you $300. I realized they'll give you 300 grand for your script. I need a person over here who's gonna play the Rocky part. I don't need this Grant Cardone over here. I need you to understand over here. I sold Grant Cardone on $300. I sold him on $300,000. I need a Rocky Balboa for my acting film. Who's willing to do it for me for free? Who's got some talents and skills over here for my film? I have a script. I say it's my script now. I bought it. I need an actor over here who has skills and talents and abilities to be able to speak great English and communication, who can really emphasize I need a person who can really emphasize the English language over here for me, please. I need it for free, please. I need to make some money over here. I realize no matter what, that person may be making money. I realize it's never fucking about the money. I realize that person may say, I need an actor over here. I need an actor over here to do it for free. I need a fucking movie over here. I realize that's a much better connotation. I never fucking do it for the money either. I never care about those directors who fucking do it for money. I realize they're fucking selling their time for money too. I realize those fucking actors that are working for money too. I realize there's many of them. I realize they fucking need money to. I realize they need fucking money to go on the fucking screen to be a celebrity star, to fucking sell their soul to the devil. I swear that's bullshit. I never need you to do that. I can see that they need money to become a star. You just fucking become a star for free. You never need money to become a star. You can see Rocky Balboa just wrote a script. As Rocky Balboa was homeless, I realized Rocky was on the fucking street, fucking writing his script. I realized the guy had fucking little food. I realized he had the dog and himself and the script. I realized that's all it took for him to fucking say, I'll never say anything about money. I never care about money. I just need to get in the fucking film and do this. I realized I see something bigger than money over here. I need you to see something bigger than money over here. I need you to be open. I realize that people who are working for money are closed. I need you to be open for freedom. I need you to see the freedom opportunity in this. I never need you to sell yourself for money. I never care that you do all these self-education products and you sell it for money. I realize that you sold your soul. I realize you really work for the money. I realize you were never really enjoying what you were doing. You were just doing it for the money. I realize when you're doing it for the money, you're just fucking trying to control everybody. You're just fucking trying to tell people what to do. I realize you're just one of those people. I never tell people what to do. I never sell them on money. I just give my fucking perspective out there and I do it for free. I realize those people who fucking wish to listen to me and follow me can fucking do so. I never fucking force them for money. I fucking was giving money so that I can get in fucking people's faces so that I can give them free content. I just learned something. I fucking 10x that money. I fucking 100x that money. I have fucking more money now. Because I have more money because no matter what, the more money I fucking put in your face and the world's face now to fucking see my information for free, I promise you it comes back. I promise you it'll come back somehow in another way. I realized no matter what, I had a nice, beautiful idea. I was going on social media to give money so that you can see my content for free. I'll fucking go give some more money now. I realized no matter what, I do it for free now. I never even have to do it for money anymore. I never even do it for money. I never even did it for money. I just realized something. I gave $250 on Instagram to gain 10,000 views so that you can